Alright, guys, so today we're going to look at US state symbols and the fact that this is like getting totally out of control. We have 50 states and each of them has a whole bunch of symbols. Some of them are really bizarre, some of them are a bit more benign and more common. Some of the more common ones would be flags, seals, and birds. Every state has a flag, seal, and bird. And then most of them have like a coat of arms. Some have colors, mottos. I think, yeah, all of them have nicknames. And nicknames are pretty well known by a lot of people. After flags is probably the most well known symbol of most of the states. You have California, the Golden State. Florida, the Sunshine State, and so on. But after that, it gets really bizarre. Now, a lot of states have like some of these birds, amphibians, butterflies, crustaceans, dinosaurs, which we're going to look at, fish, flowers, that kind of thing. And then we have fossils, soils, minerals. Then we have some of these. Some of these get a bit strange, but we're going to look at some of the more bizarre ones. So first we're going to look at some strange ones that are common to quite a few states, and then after that we're going to look at ones that are unique to particular states. So let's begin with ships. Now, state ships, not that strange really, but I'm going to highlight 4 of these here for a particular reason. So we got Arizona, Colorado, Ohio, and Utah. So there's 17 states with the ship as a state symbol. So why did I pick 4 of these? That's because these 4 I just picked out. Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Ohio. These are all landlocked states. So the idea of landlocked states having a state ship seems kind of weird. Now, Ohio here, it's on Lake Erie. So I guess you could have a ship on Lake Erie, perhaps to protect America from a possible attack by Canada. Who the hell knows? Frankly, the idea of Canada attacking America is a bit daft, but you never know. But the reason these 4 states have ships as state symbols, it's pretty easy to see when you see what those particular ships are, because we have the USS Arizona, we have the USS Colorado, which is a submarine, the USS Ohio, another submarine, and we have the USS Utah. So these are all ships named after the states. So it kind of does make sense even though they're landlocked. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. And we have 24 states have tartan as a state symbol. Now, I have no idea why tartan became so popular as a state symbol. Now, you had Scottish immigration to the US, but I didn't know it was that influential. I guess probably what happened was one state adopted it and then a whole bunch followed suit. And we have 24 states, and you can see the years they were adopted. These are all pretty recent. 1989 we have Texas. Let's see if there's one that's older than that. 1995 Connecticut, Georgia 97. And then we have a lot in the early 2000s, 2001. Just a whole bunch of states started copying in the 1990s and then the early 2000s. So we could see more of these. So look at this. Missouri in 2019 adopted theirs. So just a couple of years ago. So we now have 24 states. And who knows, by the end of this decade, all 50 could have a state tartan. Very strange. Let's move on. State ties. 2 states have state ties. Etch-a-Sketch for Kansas. Now, I don't know why Kansas chose Etch-a-Sketch, because I looked up Etch-a-Sketch and I couldn't see any connection to Kansas because it's manufactured by the Ohio Art Company. So I don't know why Ohio didn't pick it and Kansas did. And it's now owned by a company in Toronto, Canada. So I don't see what the connection is with Kansas. Now, Mississippi, their state tie is the teddy bear. This one, there is a reason why Mississippi chose the teddy bear. It's because the teddy bear was named after Teddy Roosevelt, former president. And the reason the teddy bear is called after him was because of an incident in Mississippi where him and a bunch of other guys were hunting bears, and they caught this black bear and wanted Roosevelt to shoot it, and he didn't want to do it. So they thought he was like being bear friendly or whatever, even though he was a bear hunter himself. He didn't want to shoot this animal. So then the teddy bear was called after Roosevelt, and then Mississippi adopted it because this happened in Mississippi. All right, so next we have state firearms. So fans of the Second Amendment, you guys will be happy with this one. 9 states have state firearms. Now, I'm actually surprised there isn't more that have a state firearm, given how so many other states love their Second Amendment and the gun rights. So we have Alaska, Arizona, Utah, Indiana, Kentucky. So I would have thought more of the southern states might have this, maybe Florida and Alabama, states like that. But there you go, 9 states. Now let's look at what these are. Now, I'm not a big gun person, but some of these are pretty badass. And we have a range of guns. We have rifles, we have shotguns, we have pistols. But just looking at these, I think we have a clear winner here. And it has to be this one right here. We have the Barrett M82 is the state firearm of Tennessee. The Barrett M82 is a semi-automatic. And so that's a pretty badass weapon right there. It looks badass. It probably has more power than any of these other guns. Some of these are like really old ones, like this 1819 Flintock rifle. We have a Pennsylvania long rifle. So I think Tennessee is a clear winner here. Texas has a state gun. You wouldn't be surprised to hear that. It's a Colt Walker. But there you go. Next, we have state poems. So we have 10 states have state poems, and some of them have more than one. We have Tennessee, Tennessee, not satisfied with having the most badass firearm. They have 4 poems, 4 official poems. I am Tennessee, home to stay, who we are. Oh, Tennessee, my Tennessee. So they're big into poems and guns in Tennessee. And we have Louisiana. They have 3 poems. And we got Florida, Indiana, Kentucky, New Mexico, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Texas. I don't know why they have Washington here, because they have none. So Wikipedia, you need to clean up this page. Next, we have dinosaurs. That's right. 14 states have a dinosaur as their official symbol, a state dinosaur. But there's actually many states also have dinosaurs as state fossils. It goes beyond these 14 that have an official state dinosaur, because a lot of these states have state fossils, and these fossils are dinosaurs. So let's look at these official dinosaurs. And I think we have a couple of candidates here for which state has the best dinosaur. Colorado has the Stegosaurus, which is a pretty well-known dinosaur that has these distinctive plates on their back. Coming down here, we have Wyoming, the last one on the list. They have the Triceratops, so another famous dinosaur. I didn't see none of these have the T-Rex, which is probably the most famous dinosaur of all time. This one here, the District of Columbia, where Washington, D.C. is, they have a dinosaur called Capitolsaurus. So I've never heard of this one before, but I presume there's some link with Washington, D.C. here. It's called Capitol, after the capital city of the US, I presume. So next we're going to go to individual states with like weird symbols. So we're going to get really bizarre here. This is where it goes from weird to like just downright bizarre. So here's Alabama, and let's just go through some of these here. So these are more normal ones. We have Alabama has a state Bible, which some people might find is weird, but given it's Alabama, we're talking about the Bible Belt here, so not too surprising. Alabama has a state Bible. Of course, they have a seal, they have the flag, of course, coat of arms. They have a military crest. They have a motto, a creed, a mascot. And then we have like animals. We have birds, flowers, horses, fish, birds. And then we have nuts, insects, shells. So these are pretty standard for states. A tree, fruits, mammals. But let's go down to the one I want to point out here. They have a horseshoe tournament as a state symbol. The Stockton Fall Horseshoe Tournament. Now, I gotta be honest, I wasn't quite sure what a horseshoe tournament was. At first, I thought it was a competition for horseshoe makers where people show off their horseshoes and you get a bunch of judges who decide which is the best one or whatever. But that's not what a horseshoe tournament is. It is actually kind of like a sport, and I just have a picture here of what it is. So it's a horseshoe toss. So this woman here is throwing this horseshoe and she's trying to wrap it around this pole here. So that's essentially what a horseshoe tournament is. It's you're throwing a horseshoe, trying to get it around this pole. That's essentially what it is. I don't know the exact rules of how it works, but there you go. So next we have California. So California again, we have some pretty normal ones. Amphibians, animals, birds, colors. And California is one of those with a dinosaur. Now they have a fabric, which is denim. That's pretty interesting. But the one I want to point out, actually there's two. We have a Gold Rush ghost town. Bodie, California is a ghost town. And this was designated in 2002. A Gold Rush ghost town. And we also have a Silver Rush ghost town. So it wasn't just the Gold Rush in California, there was also a Silver Rush. So the town of Calico, former silver mining town, was designated in 2005. So California is Silver Rush town and a Gold Rush town. Next we have Indiana. So what bizarre symbol do they have? They have a language, not just any language. So they have English, but also American Sign Language. They decided to make American Sign Language in 1995 a designated language of Indiana. So I don't know why Indiana chose this, but I guess they wanted to give a shout out to the deaf community in Indiana. So if you're deaf and you want to move to a deaf-friendly state, then maybe Indiana is the one for you. There you go. So Massachusetts. Okay, so what do they have that's kind of weird? Plymouth Rock is a famous rock where the Pilgrims landed, or they landed close to Plymouth Rock. So it's a designated historical rock, but we can see above and below Plymouth Rock we have a rock, just a regular rock. So we've got Roxbury Pudding Stone is the official rock of Massachusetts, and then we have what they call an explorer rock. I don't know what exactly an explorer rock signifies, but the Dighton rock is the explorer rock. So Massachusetts, they love their rocks. They have a hero and a heroine. They have Deborah Sampson, Massachusetts heroine, and a hero, Samuel Whitmore. And they also have lots of memorials to veterans. So they have the Vietnam veterans, the Southwest Asia War Memorial. We have a Korean War Memorial, an MIA Prisoner of War Memorial. So lots of military memorials there. So I like that. That's cool. And here's an interesting one I want to point out. They have an inventor, and that is Benjamin Franklin. So Benjamin Franklin, really, really famous historical figure. He was a writer, a scientist, inventor, statesman, publisher, printer, philosopher, very important figure in the American War of Independence. He was also the 6th president of Pennsylvania. Note, Pennsylvania, not Massachusetts. And this is why I want to point this out, because why did Massachusetts use Franklin? Well, because Franklin was born in Boston, Massachusetts. So he was born there, he grew up there, so that's fair enough, I guess. But at age 17, Franklin ran away from Massachusetts and he went to Philadelphia, which is in Pennsylvania, seeking a new start in the city. So Philadelphia absolutely loves Benjamin Franklin. Like, you can't go anywhere in Philadelphia without being reminded of Benjamin Franklin. There's two things that Philadelphia loves. One is Benjamin Franklin, the other is Rocky. Two guys, one of them was real, the other wasn't. So Benjamin Franklin gets the nod there as far as I'm concerned. But Benjamin Franklin, he's really a son of Philadelphia, not Boston really. Though he was born there, he ran away. So next we have Nebraska. And this is one of my favorite ones. Again, we start off with some pretty normal ones. Fossils, gemstones, trees, insects, yada yada. But look what we have here. We have a state soft drink. And look what it is. It's the Kool-Aid. They love drinking their Kool-Aid in Nebraska. So if you're thinking of starting up a cult and getting your followers to drink poisonous Kool-Aid, just like Jim Jones, then Nebraska might be the place for you. Next we have here, North Carolina. I just gave it away there. North Carolina. What's their weird symbol? It is a... Oh, before we get to this one, shagging. Shagging is a symbol in North Carolina. The shag. What's a shag? Well, some of you think it's might be something I'm not going to mention, but actually it's a dance. Shagging is a dance. Well, I know it means something else. You could argue it's a type of dance as well, but shagging is, if you're into shagging, then North Carolina is the place for you. And also, this is the really weird one. If you think shagging was weird, they have a toast. And I'm not talking about the bread that you put into a toaster and get toast. This is the a ritual during which a drink is taken as an expression of honor or goodwill. That's right. They have a state toast. And here it is. It's like, this is what you say at a toast. This poem. Adopted in 1957. There you go. Weird. North Carolina. There you go. A toast and shagging. Next we have Texas. Texas has a state... Wait till you see this. Well, this one's not that bizarre, so I'm going to show you two of these. They have a cooking implement, which is a Dutch oven used by the early pioneers as they traveled westwards from eastern US. This one, it's kind of a cool one. It's a historical one. But this is the one I really want to show you. They have a state molecule. It's called a buckyball or Buckminster Fuller. What the hell is that? It's basically a whole bunch of carbon C60, so 60 pieces of carbon, and it's got this kind of football shape. It's actually shaped just like a soccer ball. It's got this exact same arrangement, so you've got these like hexagons and pentagons, so it's just like a football. Now, I don't know why Texas chose this. It was called after this guy called Buckminster Fuller, who was like an architect and designer, inventor. And interestingly, we were talking about Massachusetts stealing an inventor. Where was Buckminster from? Why, no other than Massachusetts, Milton, Massachusetts. So Massachusetts could have picked Buckminster Fuller as their guy, and he like went to Harvard, which is just outside of Boston. Now, he did work in Canada for a while, but really this guy was definitely associated with Massachusetts. Now, he did go to North Carolina as well, but they could have picked this guy instead of stealing Benjamin Franklin. They could have taken Buckminster Fuller, but there you go. Franklin is more prestigious than this guy. This guy was really cool. I'm probably going to do a video on this guy. He's a very interesting guy. But there you go. It was Texas who chose the buckyball, the Buckminster Fuller. So there you go. States kind of stealing off other states. Utah, this is the last one I'm going to look at. So before I look at the strange one, here is an astronomical symbol. It's the beehive cluster. So the beehive cluster is a cluster of like about 1,000 stars located in the Cancer constellation. Now, the reason Utah chose this is because Utah is known as the beehive state. So it does make sense that Utah would choose this. And they have a cooking pot as well. And it's also the Dutch oven, same as Texas. And here it explains it. It's a primary cooking vessel of pioneers. So again, it's kind of a strange one to me. But again, it does have historical significance. So I guess it's kind of cool. Utah also has another astronomical symbol, and it's a star. So it's, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Dubhe or something. It's the Alpha Ursa Majoris. So it's one of the stars in Ursa Major. It's part of the Big Dipper. It's this one here, the star. So Utah obviously likes its astronomy, so that's pretty cool. So that was just an insight into some of the more bizarre symbols. And I didn't go through every single state, so there might be ones that are even more bizarre. If you know of any really bizarre ones, let us know in the comments. I might do a follow-up video to this. A lot of these symbols were designated pretty recently, so this is gonna get weirder and weirder, you guys. So this is definitely something I may do again in the future, so watch out for that. And I'm gonna wrap this up, so see you guys next time.